When do they say before the next episode?
Getting ready for the next episode. Hey. So be every day.
What up, y'all? Welcome to Club Living Room Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Lenora, joined by my homie, my lover, my friend, my husband.
Hey, Mikey, BKA, Mike. What up? What up? We are back in the building, y'all. What's happening? We missed y'all.
It's been about 12 years since we've recorded a podcast. At least it feels like it. Every day feels like a year.
Every day feels like a year. It doesn't matter. Like, we try to set aside specified times of the day to do certain things, and
There's always something that comes up that puts a monkey in the wrench.
my gosh.
Is that the same?
Put a monkey in a wrench.
Put the wrench in the monkey? You can't put a wrench in the
Can't
monkey.
put a wrench in the monkey.
Monkey? Isn't that the
A
same?
monkey in a wrench?
Yeah. Whatever. Something like that.
Something always happens. Our last episode was in July, and here we are 3 months later.
So summer was rough because kids were home.
Yes.
All summer. And then it's like we have to record late night because we put kids to bed and we got to do our cleanup or whatever.
Yeah.
And then after we do that, it's like now it's midnight, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And currently right now it is
midnight, 1 o'clock.
It's midnight 38. Okay? It's midnight 38. And we keep saying, okay, the best day to do it is like a Saturday night or a Sunday night, right? Like Saturday night is the only night that we feel like makes sense because we don't have to get up early on Sunday. Sunday's the only day we get to sleep in.
Right.
However, and also we usually go to my grandmother's house on Saturday night and then we're there late, and by the time we get back here we're exhausted and we're tired because we were up at 7 o'clock for soccer. We'd be tired. And so ideally it's Sunday night, then something always happens.
Yeah. And next thing you know, it's 3 months later, and you still trying to figure out when can you record. Oh my gosh!
And I be threatening him like, if we don't do it tonight, we am never doing it again.
We never doing this no more.
I be wanting to do it. I've been wanting to do it, and it just
never
don't
works.
be happening.
It just never works. The timing has been off. It's been
the kids be up. The other night we were trying to do it, and our youngest son was 4. Kept getting up. He kept getting up, kept waking up. Yeah. Our oldest child right now probably still awake in there, trying to be nosy. And then when school started, I mean, we were just, it's like our kids have never been in school before. And our oldest is in 6th grade, and then we have a 4th grader, a 2nd grader, and a pre-K-er. It has just been,
oh man, it's like
busyness, craziness, just.
And we thought it was gonna get easier, like when they all are like in school all the time, and it just seems like it's not. When does it get easier? Let me know, cause goodness gracious.
So it's never gonna get easier, but it's just been really busy. We be tired from the day. We done worked, we done parented.
Well, we have full-time jobs and we are full-time parents.
And a full-time marriage.
And full-time marriage, and that's full-time marriage. We do full-time things. You don't know. But anyway, but nonetheless, like trying to squeeze in an opportunity to come before you and just pour out our thoughts and everything it's been extremely difficult. Like, we had to make sure that we just not coming to you and just giving you, whatever. Like, we want to bring something that's of substance and everything like that. So it's been hard, man. It's been hard.
It's been really hard. I will say that we do get really excited about doing this. We know there are only about 12 of y'all that listen, and that's okay for today. And I jokingly say that because I truly believe that it will grow. And what I really want this podcast to grow into is just like love and relationships. I was just telling him yesterday, I love relationships. I love talking about love and relationships. I love giving relationship advice. I really enjoy that. I don't know what it is about giving relationship advice, but I almost get high off of it. Like, it it drives me, it thrives me, especially when I talk to couples or when I see stuff and it's like people are in a bad spot, right?
Yeah.
And that's life, right?
Yeah.
Everything
Life
happens,
happens.
and we've been in bad spots before, but it tugs at my heart when I feel like people are at a space where like it seems so simple,
But it's not.
right from the outside looking in, it's not.
Right.
But anyway, I really love talking about love. I really love talking about relationships, and so I hope that we can start to gather questions from people and start providing advice, and
Yeah.
asking people, because if you're new here, we've been together almost 21 years, 20 years, and that's a long time.
Yeah.
We
That's half our life that
it
we've
is.
been together.
And it doesn't
You
mean
know.
we're experts. It doesn't mean we're perfect, but
Yeah.
sometimes you need to hear it from somebody else. You need to hear
Yeah.
their perspective on what they say. I was talking to a friend yesterday and I was like, okay, let me play devil's advocate. Let me, you know what I mean? Let me give you my opinion on what I hear and what I see. But anyway, so I really do hope that this can grow into just like your love and relationship, like advice kind of podcast. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, and being able to answer questions and give our thoughts
Hmm.
on situations that again, we're in no shape or form are experts, but you've been together with one person for 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you got some sort of insight into how this thing and how it could be manifested in your relationship as
Hmm.
well. And as she mentioned, like just being able to talk and discuss and try to figure out ways to live with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I think that's something that's important to her and important to us. You know what I mean? And we try to do our best in being that example of what having fun and living with, sharing life with another person, what that's all about. So
And that's what to piggyback on that. Not only have we been together a long time, but we want to be together. We
right.
still love each other. We still like each other. We still
Yeah.
enjoy each other. We still it feels like it's been a long time, but
Mm,
also sometimes it feels new.
right.
So and I think both of us, what we really like about our relationship is that it always feels like there's something new going on, right?
Yes.
And we have a lot of passion. We have a lot of stuff that we feel like other couples don't have when they've been together as long as we have,
Yeah.
or even a shorter amount of time than we have. And so we just love sharing that and love talking about that because it's a beautiful thing. We got
Yeah.
married because we loved and liked each other then. And we still love and like each other now. We didn't get
Right.
married to be in a space where we run happy all the time or in a space where we're struggling to communicate or whatever. And
Hmm.
again, those moments will happen, but they're few and far between and they don't last long. And I think that's something we just really want to talk about. I'm
Yeah.
really passionate about helping couples and just talking about how to just make it work
Yeah.
because like this is my life partner, like life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
We
there's
got one of these.
yeah. So we're like, what is it? Penguins that made for life?
Yeah.
Um,
That's what it is.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it's penguins. I mean, I think there's a lot of species actually that they pick one person they make for life.
Okay, if
But
you say so. I'm your
anywho,
penguin, baby.
anywho, well then you shouldn't be carrying the babies, but because
No, I sit on the
right
baby.
while the egg is hatching, it's like them being pregnant almost. Because
No, they just sit on the babies.
until they hatch, they take care of them until they hatch.
They sit on the babies and warm it and keep it warm.
Until they hatch.
Yeah.
It's like the pregnancy. You should have did that part.
Uh-huh.
One of them. We have four
That's what
kids.
you say.
You should have been pregnant for one of them. Drinking. What are we drinking tonight at this
At this
midnight 48?
midnight 48. So we got two drinks here as always. I'm sipping on a little Angry Orchard with the splash of Malibu, just to give it a little kick up or whatever. And as always, her little small little Taki mix. But I think it's called Taki. I think it's called it's something. But it's mixed. It's that
Is Malibu in like the
it's
pink lemonade, right?
yeah, Malibu and lemonade. Yeah, something nice and smooth. Well, Malibu is something that's really just like it's a coconut rum. I mean, they got different flavors, but you can pretty much put it in anything. It kind of just smooths everything out. So
That's what we're drinking on.
that's what we drink on.
Anywho.
Sorry.
We already kind of talked about kids. Life is busy. School is in session, and
Hopefully, we can get back to a consistent flow.
not hopefully we will.
That's what I'm
We
talking
will.
about.
We
You know what I'm saying?
but
See, when you got a life partner and one person say hopefully, the other person should be like, no, as you can see.
and drive us crazy all at the same time.
So sorry, honey. So I think I said this like the first episode. When y'all gonna help us raise these kids?
Right. It's like I love giving.
My Lord, I feel like we are doing our best to parent in a way that is not, gonna whoop you if you don't do what we say you're gonna do, or we gonna punish you. And let's be honest, I think everybody that's in my generation, it was all about if you ain't did what you had to do,
We all got whoopings.
you got whooped.
And I think and that's why most of us millennials don't whoop our kids.
Right. So where is that fine line? This is our dream time, right? Where is that fine line between can I pull out the belt? Should I pull out the belt? Or should I stick to the shoe?
Discipline. What's the best way to discipline? Well, there is no best way, right? Depends on the child, depends on the parent. As we know, even with 4 kids, we discipline each one differently.
Yeah.
What works for one does not work for the other.
Yeah.
And so
But
there's
whooping worked for all, did it not?
Did it though? Who got multiple whoopings? I know you did. Did.
Maybe that is life telling me like because you got all these whoopings, we're gonna bring this back to you. And you figure it out.
We need parent advice. We will provide relationship advice.
Y'all give us parenting advice.
We need y'all to give us parenting advice. Because it'd be rough out here. But anyway, we are very grateful.
Absolutely.
We wanted a big family. We wanted 4 or 5 kids. We had 4 kids. The shop is closed. We gonna keep saying it. If you've heard it, but we're gonna keep saying it.
We're gonna say it every time we jump on this podcast and somebody pops up and say, y'all ready for another one? Y'all gonna do this? It's not happening.
No, we're good.
Yeah, not happening.
So the main topic for today is divorce. Okay. And I'll segue it by saying, when we talk about social media, right? I know, at least for me, when I see people stop posting their photos with their significant other, spouse, or whoever, I'm like, oh, they must have got a divorce. Even if the name hasn't changed, I'm thinking they got a divorce. They separated. They not together. Now I'm looking back to see when the last photo is they posted together. I'm going back and I'm looking at that. Right. I'm going down a rabbit hole. I'm investigating. Trying to figure out why are they doing that? Yeah. What's going on? It ain't none of my business. But right. I also need to know.
Yeah. But you know, it is when you have such a thriving relationship that I would say that we have. You hope that everybody that's in a relationship has that same kind of passion, that same kind of love for one another, and sometimes that's just not the case. So when you start, you see your IG posts, or you see all the pictures, and next thing you know, you don't see that person no more. We got to think, why didn't it work? 50% of marriages in divorce, the first time you get married, right? And the second time you get married, it's even higher. It's, I think, like 60 or 70%, something like that. But what happened that made it get to a point where you felt like this person that you chose, or that person chose you to live life with? What happened that forced you to say, you know what, we need to go our separate ways? And it's unfortunate because like we love, like we love to be, to be together with one another, and we love to see other couples in the same
writing.
case, because in my heart of hearts, I believe that we are on this earth to spend it with somebody else. And I'm not saying like, obviously, people pass away and you know, just life happens and somebody ends up, God forbid, going too soon. But I believe that like we are all put on this place to live life with somebody else, and have that level of excitement and joy. And when you get to a place where you don't feel that with somebody who you thought was there for you, it's just it hurts us, and we like, what happened? Like,
It really
when
does.
it start?
Right. It really does. I think.
Did somebody cheat? So
And I
that's
think
always the first thing.
for both of us, it really is like we want everybody to be as in love as we are. We really
Right,
do, because I think
right.
it's such a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful feeling, right? To know that you love somebody and that person really loves you back.
Yeah,
And the feeling is just as strong on their end as it is on your end.
yeah,
It's not one sided, it's always reciprocal. And for both of us, that's why we really love like talking about love and relationships, because we really, really do. We were like, well, why isn't it work? What if you
why
do this and
isn't
that and
it?
that? And we really try to help people when we do talk to people. We do really try to provide advice and provide perspective, an outsider's perspective about how we think it can make them work. And we give our own experiences too. Because
Yeah,
again, we've been through stuff, right? And we will continue to go through stuff. We really, truly, honestly want everybody to be in love like we are. And
why don't you want this? You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like why wouldn't you want to? Excuse me. Why would you want to spend your time that you have on this earth with somebody who wants to spend it with you, right? And upgrade your palate. Honey, come on.
My palate? That's for food.
I need you to upgrade
See?
your
See,
educational content.
don't be trying to like
Use these big
chastise
words.
me and then use the wrong word, okay? Because
Anyway, okay,
you will not go with just big drinks now.
okay. No, but like I being able to, I forgot.
You lost.
You just threw me
You said
off.
mitigate something.
Well, before that.
I so
Oh
like I
my
said,
gosh.
I started the conversation by saying this drink's making me real hot. Anywho, anyway,
What kind of hot is
okay.
making?
Anywho, anyway, right? So I talked about how like we know once they stop posting their spouse or whatever,
Yeah.
then I'm curious. Same goes with like celebrities, right? So the Tia Mowry show just
Oh,
started, and I watched it. I'm a fan of Tia and her sister, right?
are you
And
though?
I am, I
Oh,
am.
we a fan of Tia.
No, don't do that. I'm a fan of both of them. I mean, they're different people. They got the same face, but different people.
Yep.
Now I'm a fan of both of them. I always have it, right?
Okay.
So you're not a fan of either one. So whatever. You won't tell me who I'm a fan of.
Okay.
Excuse me. Anywho, anyway,
Don't say
when Tia,
it's not like I wasn't a fan. I just don't really.
you're not a fan. It's okay. You just know of them. When Tia announced her divorce, I was like,
Wait a
what?
minute.
What do you mean? You're getting a divorce?
And they were together for how long?
About the same amount of
About
time.
20 years. So
What and so in her show, she revealed, which I had already known because I'm a fan of hers, that like he was her first everything. She couldn't date until she was 18, I think, and they started dating, I think, when she was 20, and then got married, and then just that was just all she knew and all she had, which there's nothing wrong with that.
right.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Right.
But I was just like, man, like I was like, what happened? I always like, know what happened.
First thing is always he cheated.
I know. I think a lot of people assume she cheated. And we don't know. We weren't there. We have no idea. They've never said either way. In the first episode, she had a medium come, or her assistant had a medium come and talk to her, and she said, well, I feel like you knew after a couple of years that getting married was a mistake. And what else did she say to her? She was like she wasn't happy for a long time, and she got tired of putting on the facade, and got tired of faking
Yeah.
all these things, and it's just sad. It's just sad. So she never said he cheated. He never said he cheated, whatever.
But in that instance, do you think it's given her quote unquote lack of experience? Do you think that that could be a reason as to why it was potentially something that can cause her to be
There's no way to know
divorced?
that. There are plenty of people who get in relationships when they're 16,
Yeah.
and there's a couple that we went to college with that I don't think you know them, but I do. But they started in high school when they were
Hmm.
16, 17 years old, and they're the same age as we are, 40, 41.
Yeah.
They're still together, married with 5 kids, and from their posts, happy as can be. You know what I'm saying?
True that, but there's a
And
difference when you are a celebrity and you have
I don't
unlimited
know that there's a
access
difference.
to
I don't know that there's a difference because
different.
I don't know if there's a difference. I don't think there's a difference. I think it's more of the person, not the status or anything. There's lots of celebrity couples who are doing just fine. For example, we're gonna talk about the Reasonable Doubt show, but Morris Chestnut, right,
Hmm.
who's on the season. We watched the Breakfast Club interview. I don't know if you heard that part, where he talked about his wife. He said they've been together, either married or been together 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
And he was like, I'm not, she not going nowhere, and I hope she's not going nowhere. Like, what I mean, it is, but you never see her.
Yeah.
I think she probably goes to him a red carpet stuff or whatever, but she's not in the spotlight. That's not what she wanted, but he is.
Right.
And from what he just said on this interview, it hasn't affected their relationship. So it just depends on the person. It depends on the relationship, and I don't think there's a one size fits all kind of like every relationship fails because they're in
Yes.
Hollywood or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely, instances where, you have your a long time, there's definitely instances given their stature and where their spouses aren't in the spotlight. Well, I mean, well, of course, still, Courtney B. Vance also is an actor also as well, but, given their level of status,
Mm-hmm.
I
You had a whole eyelash. It's
I
like it's
mean,
on you, but the eyelash
you
was on
can't
your
even.
cheek. It wasn't in your
They
eye.
can't see the eyelash
I
that's
saw
way
it.
back
Carry
here.
on with your
But
story, man.
my point is like there are instances in which people who have status are able to manage that um you know kiss scenes and love scenes and all of this stuff that comes with being an actress or an actor. um and you look at something as simple as I mean, I'm not trying to put actors or actresses on a pedestal, right? But I'm saying like if they can do and go out and act a scene that they're in a some form of sexual connotation or something along those lines, right?
Sex scene.
A sex scene, okay?
He
And you
trying to like throw in
listen, man. Just
all this
because you're
extra
just because
vocabulary.
just because
First of
you're
all, second of
just
all,
because your vocabulary isn't as
as what?
as expansive as
See how you had to be
mine,
like as expansive.
it could have been the drink talking.
That
But
doesn't
it's
matter.
just
That doesn't
because
matter.
just because
I no words.
you know words. Okay. You
I
know
know
words.
it's like
See?
Good Burger. I know some of these words.
I know some of these.
um,
Good burger. Good burger. That's a good movie.
I never
But
even saw the second one. I mean, I know it's not the same, but
it's not this.
but I still feel like I have to watch it. But carry
But
on.
nonetheless, I'm just saying like you start to look at, you know, human being, you start to ask yourself like, what?
Regular human beings.
I mean, come on. People who
What?
are not in the spotlight. People are not in the spotlight.
Okay.
And you start to look and say, what could be a reason as to why you chose to get married to this individual? And what are the circumstances that caused a rift that is just unrepairable, that you just cannot move forward with living a life with somebody else? And
Okay, so you done?
I guess, golly, because you got something to say. Gee.
So segue into the question I was going to ask you anyway is grounds for divorce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Grounds for what would make you divorce me? I remember telling our oldest child one day, I don't even know what we were talking about or how we got to the subject, but I
Okay.
was like, you don't have to worry about me and your dad divorcing. And she was like, well, how do you know? I said, because I know. How do you know you're not gonna have a divorce? Something could happen or whatever. I was like, because I know, girl. Like we know. But what would make you divorce me?
You know, I'm gonna be completely honest, right? I never thought about it, and the reason I never thought about it is because divorces was has never been on my mind. So for me to think like, you know what, I need to have something that if she does this, I'm out of here. Like that's never been something that I have even considered an option for me, right? So from my perspective, and this is straight off the dome, not this is the first time you asking me this question,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Like divorce was never an option for anything in terms of my relationships and how I wanted to move forward. That was never an option. Therefore, I never thought about, well, if she does this, then I'm out of here. You know what I mean? So, um, in my perspective, if you're not looking for a reason to get out of something or get out of a marriage, then that gives you much more reason to fight for if something were to occur or something egregious were to happen. That gives you much more incentive or reason to be able to fight for it because that's not why you got into this in the first place.
That is beautiful. And I love that you would never divorce me. That's amazing to hear. But here's why I would divorce you. If you
You see why we've been together. You see why we've been together for so long because
that's
she
amazing.
has ulterior motive. Go ahead, baby.
I told you from jump, there's two things that I'm never dealing with. What are those two things?
Abuse and infidelity.
But how do I say it? Beating and cheating.
Beating and cheating.
Okay.
Beating and
If you were an actor, I just said we were watching more
yeah.
that thing, right? Well, the interview. Ain't no way I'm gonna watch you kissing nobody else.
But I'm an actor.
I don't.
But I'm an
But your lips ain't acting.
But I'm an actor.
Your lips, your chest, your body ain't acting.
But I'm an actor.
What if you get aroused from the scene?
If I
We got problems.
if I am a professional actor,
You don't know. You don't even know professional actor. So
first of all,
don't please stop it. Please stop. Don't even tell me when you were modeling when you was a kid. Don't even tell me.
Listen, Linda. Listen. First of all, yes, I did model when I was a youngster.
If y'all are listening, I just wrote my eyes.
But I wasn't even going that way. I just want to put that out there, and I wasn't, said I had this look. Anyway, that was the.
Can you move on with your story?
Anyway, but no, like I think, I forgot.
See how you can't even get your thoughts together because you was finna tell a whole lot. So you can't even get.
I was going to go into detail about my model, about my
Nobody
modeling,
cares. Nobody
my
cares.
modeling acumen.
Again, here are the reasons I would divorce you. Okay, beating and cheating. If you around here slapping me upside down, doing all the punching me and putting me into walls, so I'm leaving.
So let me at least say something towards that. And that was one of the instances where I was mentioning, like, if those are circumstances that are beyond control, right? Wrong set of words. Those are reasons as to why somebody would definitely leave a marriage, right? And I completely agree with that. Like putting your hands on your spouse, whether or not you're a female or the male. Let's be honest here, because there are women who abuse their husbands mentally and physically, and vice versa. And if that
Vice versa. Carry on. I think you're a wordsmith, but it's vice versa. But carry on.
Anyway, if there are women who abuse their husbands, I think that there is no grounds to be able to live a life in which you feel like you have to demean or punish or physically abuse the person that you're deciding to live life with. And if you have to resort to those types of responses, then quite frankly, I 100% just do not agree with any type of physical or verbal abuse, no matter who does it. Let's talk about the cheating aspect.
Oh, let's talk about it.
Okay.
What you got to say?
So if, let's say, you have been to a place where you and your spouse have gotten separated, i.e., one of the shows that we're watching, it's called Reasonable Doubt on Hulu. Wonderful show. That was the Morris Chestnut, in which the lead character was separated from her husband and she was promiscuous with a significant other. Does that does that mean that you no longer care for the person that you chose to do life with when you both were separated at that time?
I don't know that constitutes as like cheating, right?
Okay.
We've never been separated. So,
Right.
but I feel like when people separate, it's like, I don't know if I still want to be in this relationship. So I'm going to go over here. You're going to go over there. You do you. I'm going to do me. Maybe we'll come back together. Maybe we won't. So, um, I don't know the rules about what's okay. You know what I mean? When people separate, if it's okay to like still be with other people or whatever. I don't know. I'm talking about if you like deep into the like if you're not separated.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I was referring to, and not so much the show or whatever, but I'm talking about like us specifically, right?
Okay.
As I said, no beating, no cheating. I'm talking we in this relationship. You living here, I'm living here. We and these kids, we cooking, we clean, we doing all the things. And I find out instead of you going to work, you going Tina house and y'all doing things.
Okay.
That's where I have a problem. I'm not talking about we separated. I'm talking about you flat out cheating. That's a problem. And what I will tell you is that if I find out that you are cheating, you will be dead
the end
in
of
this
this
house.
podcast.
Oh, it's definitely in this podcast. Definitely in this podcast. You will be dead, and me and my kids will be gone in another country before anybody finds your body.
So you kill me. This
Absolutely.
is recorded, huh?
Absolutely. Don't cheat. If you value your life, I advise you to stay faithful. Don't
This is
cheat.
recorded. You can't say that.
Why not?
Because they can still extradite you from wherever you think you are and bring you back to the country and say
No,
that you killed me.
not happening. There's no jurisdiction outside of the U.S.
What you mean? It is.
No, we'll be
They can
gone.
get whoever they
I
want
will
to
have
get.
a new name. I will have a new identity. My kids will have new names.
Just an FYI, guys. If something were to happen to me, and you know,
If you beat me, I'm putting you in jail. If you
everybody
cheat
knows
on me,
that.
I'm killing you. That's just it. It is what it is. So I advise you not to do either one. If you value your life, don't do either one.
Okay, so she's from an extreme perspective.
Not extreme.
I want to talk about the show.
I know, but you didn't even let me finish my thought.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your
I
thought.
was in the middle of talking about why you shouldn't be cheat.
Why you shouldn't be the cheat?
You beat or cheat.
Oh, okay.
You
Continue.
put a lot of alcohol in here. I just want to point that out.
No, it didn't. But
You
anyway, it's iced down. There's a lot of ice in there.
There's no ice.
There's a lot of ice in there.
There's no ice.
Okay, we have a shaker, and then the ice. That's why yours is cold.
Okay.
Go ahead, honey.
Point I'm trying to make
Is you already said that.
don't cheat on me.
You
And you get to continue living in this house. You get to continue living on this earth.
You were making a point.
I was trying to finish it, and then you were like, "Well, Reasonable Doubt." I should watch Reasonable Doubt.
It's a really good show.
How you gonna just bust in and talk about the show?
Because
I wouldn't even finish.
Because it's a really good show.
It is a really good show. So anyway, I made a point. If this podcast, if there's another break, it's because he's in this room decaying and nobody knows it.
Country because she went to Costa Rica so that she can learn Spanish.
I'm not even going to Costa Rica, obviously. And I just want to learn Spanish too. I'm gonna go find me some cute Spaniard that don't want babies because I don't want to have more babies.
No, but it's like we recognize that there are levels, right? There's levels to which each relationship is willing to go, right? and how high or what a
When someone
spouse.
reaches their breaking
Right.
point.
When somebody reaches their breaking point to say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And I think it's important as you grow within your relationship, because the people that we are now, 20 years into this thing, are definitely not the people that we were, when we were in our 20s, right? You grow, you learn, you develop. In my opinion, is when it comes to relationships, sometimes some people grow and some people don't. And if you're not on the same playing field, or
Mm.
you're not in a position to really truly appreciate the growth that you've had, however long y'all been together, I think that is one of the reasons as to why there is issues or problems or situations that come into your relationship. Because when you're growing in family, you have kids come about, all that stuff like changes you. It changes women. When women have children, like, it changes them. Like, they're not the same female that they were when they were theoretically in their, in the teens, or if they're in their 20s and all that. They're not the same person. The thought process behind that is totally different than when they didn't have children. So if you're not willing to grow with your spouse, or
Mm.
grow, spiritually, mentally, if you're not willing to grow with them, then you didn't know what you were signing up for when it comes to being in a marriage. And I think that is a major issue in terms of relationships in the first place.
I think it's that and desires, right? I always desired to have a relationship like ours, quite honestly, right? Where there was mutual respect, there was mutual love, right? And passion. I think that we've always been, like, I would say, more lovey-dovey than probably any other couple. Any other couple that we know, as far as, like, when you even talk about, like, PDA, right?
Yeah.
And I think we know so many couples. It's, even talk about, like, older couples where it's like, do they even like each other though?
Right.
Or they just together because they together
Because
and
they've been
they've been
together for so
together.
long that they don't even really, um, it doesn't even matter. You know what
Right.
I
It's
mean?
more about companionship,
Yeah.
right? And I never wanted that. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted someone wanted to be with me as much as I wanted to be with them. And, like, I love that, like, here we are 21 years later and it still is like our desires are the same.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm so into you, you not really into me, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, like you said, we've grown together and we've changed and we've had issues and we've grown through them and gotten through them. But it's just, like I said, it's what you desire. I always want to be, like, in love, like, deeply, passionately, like, vulnerably, like, in love.
Yeah.
And I probably said it before on a previous podcast, I'm not sure, but I know we talked about it earlier. Like, somebody was like, "Oh, my spouse is not my best friend. If something happened, I would not go to my spouse, and I would not want to talk to them about whatever really good happened or whatever really bad happened." And I'm like, that's crazy to me. Like,
Yeah.
you are the one I'm calling, texting, to FaceTime, and you are the
Yeah.
one, the first one, right?
But you know what, honey? Honestly, it may be different for women than it is for men. I didn't get to that point. It wasn't like even when we first got married, I was still calling my other homeboys, and I didn't feel that, right? Like, you were my best friend. And I think sometimes the expectation of that aspect from a woman's perspective, and it's easier for women to be like, I can confide in my husband, or I can confide in my significant other right off the bat, and that person is going to be my A1 right off the bat. And it may not be the same for men, because I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't that
Mhm.
way for me in the beginning. But as time went on, yeah, you start to realize, like I'm living life with this person, and I'm living life with my wife, and yeah, I'm gonna talk to her more because we're doing this together. Like, our monies are aligned, our everything is aligned in together. So I think sometimes the aspect of understanding that I'm going to call on my wife as my best friend, it may not happen immediately in a relationship, but you should get to a place where, like, man, I'm gonna call her because, like, I know you don't know nothing about sports, but I'll still be like, baby, you got to see what this guy doggone this doggone Cam Ward did for the UM, blah 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 blah. And I know you can care less about it, but guess what? I'm still gonna tell you because you are who I'm talking to more than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I think that's more so about like life changes, right? I
mm-hmm.
think when we first got married, we both we've been together 5 years, 6 years. And at that point, we both had best friends outside of the marriage, right? And it was that's very natural, and it's still natural for people to have best friends outside of their marriage, right? So I don't think it's so much of like because you still talk to me, you still confided in me, you still like told me about the wins, losses, and whatever. We still did that. I think you're thinking it a bit in a different way. Whereas, like, then we had more time to devote to outside relationships.
Yeah.
When it was just the two of us, when we were just starting out, we were just married, and we were living in our little condo, it was like we had our time and then we had our separate time. We had our friend time, we had our work time, we had, what I mean? We were able to spend less time together because our lives were so different. And now that we 4 kids deep, we pretty much only spend our time with each other. And these 4 kids, we there's not. And that's not to say that we don't ever spend time with friends,
True
right?
that.
But it's not as often,
Right.
as it was then. So I think it's not so much as you didn't confide in me, talk to me, whatever, because you did, right? It was just
it wasn't as often that it is now.
Well, no, it's not even that it wasn't as often. It's just our time is more limited. Our time is more. We spend way more time with just our nucleus of a family than we do with anyone else. So by default, we talk more. You know what I mean? Because even now with your work schedule, right? So before, and you've been working. How long have you been working there?
A
year and a half. Before then, the previous jobs you had, you were gone, leaving at 7:30 in the morning, not come back until 6 p.m. at night. Right. So we didn't even see each other as much as we do now that you're working from home every day, 2 days out of the week. So I think it's all those variables that because we are looking face to face more, I can come to this room and see you in between meetings and talk and show you reels and tell you what kids did and whatever. Tell you how drop off went, tell you how whatever went. I think that's the difference. It's not like, again, I don't think it was, or we're closer now than we were then, so much as like it's just our focus has shifted and we have these kids, and because the busy life that we have with them, we are just around each other a lot more. So therefore we communicate more. And even if you talk about the phone, right? You're not like a big I'm gonna talk on the phone person. But people will say they'll call you and you won't answer, right? And we can even talk about your sister. I remember she used to always be like her and her husband would talk on the phone. He'd be at work, she'd be at work, and they'd be talking on the phone all day. And he would walk out the house, call him when he got in the car. Like that's not you.
No.
That's not you. That's not who you were. That doesn't mean you didn't talk to me and confide in me. But that's not who you were. Now you have gotten better at communication. You have. I don't have to probe and prod you as much as I used to kind of get you to tell me how you're feeling and tell me how you feel about what I'm feeling. I don't have to do that as much as I used to. But I just think life has changed where you still have friends, you still have an outlet. I still have friends, I still have an outlet when I need to, but it's just we're in this space where we get to spend more time together and we do spend more time together and there's more face-to-face communication. Like say you're not we're gonna talk on the phone all day. I try to talk to you sometimes, do whatever. You be like, all right, well, because if you try to listen to sports talk radio or whatever, so you still like that. But I think that's what's changed.
But to that point, right? is how did we get to that level? It wasn't just by happenstance. It didn't just like happen because, like just like time and everything changed, right? Like like we actually tried to make, or you explained it more so to me, that hey, if we're gonna do this, like you should want to talk to me more. I feel like somebody opened the
One
door,
of
right?
our kids is up. It's
Yeah.
probably the oldest one.
It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, why they awake? Why?
They don't want us to be great.
Anyway,
Yeah.
and quite frankly, like it took me a minute to get to that point. And the reality of the situation is women mature faster than men. Let's be honest, right? And I think it's easier for women to express themselves in a way that will allow, the family as a whole to be, to work. And I'm constantly reminded of this training I went to, where the trainer was talking about how boys, when they're growing up, they play with cars and tracks and all that stuff. Girls play with Barbie dolls. They're combing Barbie dolls' hair, and they're thinking about family, and they're doing school. Like, they're already, just by their nature, you know.
The girls already talked about how many kids they want. Anywho, anyway. I don't do no rude work. Oh.
I mean, so I think to sum this up and put this all in a
We
bow.
really didn't talk about the show, though.
What's up?
The reason.
I've been trying to
No,
get
no, no, no.
there.
You interrupted me as I was talking about why I would divorce you.
No.
Yes, you did.
What's up?
I really hope they redo it again. It's very much like How to Get Away with Murder. No, no, no. Yes, in that each season focuses on like one case, right? Just so there's a lawyer, black woman, who's a lawyer, and
Very
she
successful lawyer.
very successful lawyer. She's a partner at her firm, and she takes these, hard cases, tough cases, whatever. The past 2 seasons have focused on mainly one case that she's working on. In addition to that, she's a mom, she's a wife, and trying to navigate those relationships also, which can be challenging. In
Yeah.
the very first season, she struggled trying to be there for her husband and her kids. Her husband separated. I don't want to give too much away in case you haven't seen it, but it's really good. The soundtrack is really good.
But
Which we
not
forgot to
just
mention,
that.
but
It's the struggle of being a successful woman, and you're still trying to navigate having a husband. So
mhm.
being a wife, being a mom, while also all of the weight that comes with being somebody that has so much to deal with. Women as a whole, like moms and mothers, like as a whole, like you have the responsibility of raising kids and taking care of the household. Like, there's a lot that goes, in the brains of these fantastic women and these strong women, and sometimes, it's difficult to navigate those waters, right? On top of that, your husband, you're trying to be there for your husband and do things for him at the same time. Like, it kind of parallels into, what we were trying to discuss as it relates to divorce, and how life just happens, right? And when life happens, like, there are so many instances and things that can be distractions that can take you away from your significant other. And it's kind of like, being able to judge whether or not I have to make a decision between career or my family or my livelihood or my husband. And it's just a phenomenally rich show.
The producer's just Kerry Washington,
Yeah.
and it's just a really good show. It's a really good show, really good storylines. So if you have the chance to watch it, it's on Hulu. please don't do so.
Yeah.
Do not watch it around your kids. It's not the type of show.
Not a kid
You
show.
you can't
TVMA.
you cannot watch it
TVMA.
around your kids.
Episode number one to let you know. TVMA.
There's a lot of stuff going on that's not kid friendly. But
Yeah.
yeah, even and we're gonna start to wrap it up. I promise. If you're still here, thank you. If you're still listening,
It's
but
been a long time. We got a lot to get off our chest, and
uh,
this is just one episode, man. I can't wait to keep going.
and what I will say about divorce is, as I said before, we've been in bad places, right? We didn't get 21 years here by it just being rainbows,
It went all rainbow
butterflies.
and butterflies,
Okay.
100%.
And there was a moment where I not so much was contemplating divorce, but I was like, you need to divorce me. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna get to a good place again. I think you need to leave so you can be happy and leave me alone. And in that moment, had you cheated, I think I would have been more understanding. I wouldn't have been so quick to be like, I'm done, I'm leaving. Because we were in such a bad place because of me, right? And I knew it was because of me, because of some stuff I was dealing with. So I think that, and you kind of said it there. You kind of said it before. Oh, divorce is not on the table, and I'm super grateful for my husband because he was very much like, I'm here. Like, take the time you need. I'm here. I'm gonna be here. It is what it is. So, like I said, life happens, and you have to have a partner who is willing to stick around, who is willing to give you the space that you need when you need it, who is willing to love you unconditionally. Oh goodness gracious! It's so important to have. That's all I got.
And I think because we live in this society in which everything's right in your face, you can go on IG, you can go on TikTok, you can go on Twitter, you can find somebody who is beautiful beyond measure. But at the end of the day, the the person that I chose to be with was this woman that's sitting right here. The person that you chose to be with. I'm talking to you, people who are in your marriages and in your relationships right now. The person you chose to be with is sitting right next to you. She or he is that exact same person that you chose to be with. And we go through so many things, and life throws us so much shit. I don't want to cuss because I want to keep this PG. Like, we go through so much shit. I had thought out there. Like, life will give you so much crap, and and oftentimes we, based off of those percentages of 50% of people, the 50% of people who chose not to chose the easy way out, as opposed to fighting for the happiness that's set forth for you. And like, it's unfortunate because we love, like, love can be so beautiful, it can be so fantastic, it can be so beautiful, and not a lot of people get a chance to experience it because they're willing to just give up on the person that they chose to do it with. And that's the unfortunate thing. And we're here to be like an example to somebody who is potentially struggling, to say, like it doesn't have to be this way. Like we all go through tough times and difficult situations. There's so much that's been thrown your way. We all go through it. Again, it wasn't, we've been together for 21 years plus. Every day wasn't great. There were days where I just want to be like, I don't want to see her today. I don't want to talk to her today. And Viola Davis, she mentioned something. It popped up on my feed, and she said that you truly don't. And I'm paraphrasing because it was something along these lines of, like, you truly don't understand what a marriage is until you look at that person across from who you chose to be with, and you just want to be like, I don't like you right now, but I'm going to stick this through. I'm going to stick it in, and we're going to go through this because I chose you. And oftentimes, people, when they get to these difficult situations, they give up. They allow the fact that, oh, I can just find somebody else just like that, right? And once you've gotten to that second marriage, the percentages of divorce is higher than the first, right? Because you already ain't willing to. You've already gone through something once before, and you ain't willing to. I'm not second. Second time going around, it ain't gonna take nothing for me to be like, I'm out of here, right? And that's the thing that we're trying to speak as we have these conversations and talks is we want couples to understand like it is a fantastic thing to be in love with somebody who loves you back, and when they love you back, like everything is fun, life is fun. I know kids is another thing, but everything else is fun and enjoyable, and that's what life is about. It's about experiencing happiness together. And I'm not saying that just to say like everything is going to be rainbows, because bills are got to be due, mortgages got to be paid. We all feel like we ain't getting paid enough. We ain't making enough money. You know, and money is a big factor in a lot of issues regarding couples and relationships. Money is a big factor, but you chose that person. You saw something in that person that said, you know what, I want to spend the rest of my life with that person. That person right there. When you were 18, 19, 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, you know what, even if you ain't ever been married, at 50 years old, you saw something in that person that said, you know what, I want to spend the rest of my life with them. And if that's the case, then sometimes you got to stick through thick and thin, through difficult situations, through sick or poor, good times and bad. And that's what we want to instill is to, we all have bad times. But guess what? We here, we're going to make it through. And you can do the same if you want to. And that is the key right there. If you want to, you can make it through. I don't think a lot of people do.
Like you said, the one has to be there. Excuse me.
Yeah.
The want and the desire has to be there from at least one of y'all, right? Because it's easy, like you said, throwing the towel. It's
It's real
easy.
easy.
It's easy to give up. It's easy to think that the grass is greener on the other side. It's easy to do those things, right? And again, I had when I said you just gotta go, like divorce me, like we gotta separate. Like had you certainly would divorce her, I would not. I would have just been like, okay, you know what I mean. But because you were like, no, because you, I don't want to say you meant your vows more than I did, because I did.
I did.
It is it made the difference. I think that is why I know that is why we're in the place that we're in now, right? And even prior to things happening, we had a very great relationship. We always did, right? And life happened, shit happened, and it affected everything. And it was hard. It was very, very hard for a very long time. I never wanted to get this emotional. It's supposed to be a fun, uplifting podcast, not emotional, right? But I think that she's a testament to when you find your person who, like I said, loves you as much as you love them and is willing to fight and is willing not to give up and is willing to give you the space and time that you need to heal and is willing to just be there. So yeah, I don't know. That's it. That's it.
We wanted to jump back in and bring this conversation to the forefront because we know who we are, and we recognize the power that love has, as it relates to your significant other, and we're just hoping that you all can feel the same. Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. Sorry for the tears. It was not supposed to go left and go in that direction. That was not my intention. But it's encouragement, right?
Yeah.
If anybody out there is going through something, whatever it may be, I hope that you have a spouse who is willing to wait on you and is willing to give you what you need in that moment. And I hope that you come out better on the other side. And I hope that you're willing to stay in and fight because you know that at the end of it all, that's still your person.
Because when you do come out on the other side, it is just rainbows and sunshines.
Most of the time.
Most of the
Most of
time.
the time.
But my closing, what was that? What's it called?
No.
My let out topic. It's truly it's centered around what is it that you truly want. If you are committed in a relationship with your spouse, what do you truly want when times are not great? How are you going to fight through that difficult time when you're staring at that significant other? You stand across the way, you saying to yourself, like, I just don't like that person at this moment. What are you going to sacrifice? What are you going to give up? What are you going to do to ensure that that person is the person that you want to continue to fight this life with? So I implore all my couples to reevaluate,
Not all my couples carry up.
all couples. I mean,
Uh,
everybody to reevaluate and consider the person that you are sleeping in the bed with, or the person that you chose to live life with. Is everything good? Are you good with them? Or is everything copacetic like that?
I know the words, man. Don't look at me like
Okay,
that.
good. Because quite frankly, you chose that person and that person chose you. Like that person either proposed to you or you proposed to them, and the other person said yes, or you said yes, which means you said to that person, "I want to do life for you." So if you gonna do life for them, how you gonna make it happen? When the times ain't great, when the times are not, when you don't like the person sitting next to you, you just can't stand the way they smell, the way they eat,
I smell.
the way they smell, the way they
Why they
eat,
gotta
the way they
stink?
blink, the way they talk, when everything is just horrible. When you can look at them and say, you know what, it doesn't matter. I chose you to do
Are
life
you
with.
trying to say that I smell and you don't like me with
Sometimes you
it?
eat, your eating be kind of loud.
Don't even. My eating is never
You
loud.
do soar. We've
I do
already we've
not.
we've already established that, and that was a
We
pet
have
peeve of
not
mine. And guess
established
what?
that.
I I
That is your truth. It's not mine.
I chose to sacrifice my sleep.
Oh,
Sometimes you gotta sacrifice. You gotta
whatever.
sacrifice. Sometimes I chose
Whatever.
to sacrifice my sleep
Let me record you.
so that she can snore however she chooses. But at the end of the day, guess what? Guess what? I'm laying next to the woman I chose to lay next with. I'm laying next to the woman I chose to lay with.
Yeah.
That's what I said before.
Lay next with. You know it's
So I
recorded.
added the next. Okay.
It do
Either
make
way,
sense. I'm just
either
saying.
way, either way, I'm laying next to the woman I chose to lay with, snoring and all. But and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Me as a man, I'm confident in who I am, that I can provide what I can provide for her as a husband, as a father to our children. I'm confident in who I am, where I don't have to be concerned about any other outside influences making a dent into what we have created. And I think that's sometimes it takes that level of confidence to be able to build something that's impenetrable. So
We are impenetrable.
we are.
You had a lot to say.
I did because
You had a
I
lot to get
felt
off
this
your
one.
chest.
This has been 3 months, a long time, and I needed to.
Yeah,
We
stuff you need to get off your chest. If you guys are still listening, if anybody is still listening, thank you so much for joining us. Cheers to you. We hope you had a drink with us. We did forget to mention our song of the week, which is Love and Happiness by the one and only Al Green.
I agree.
And
Happiness.
I said Al Green, not Michael Spence.
Yeah.
And you're still, nope, you can stop anytime you want to. Just but now would be great. You don't have to sing it. It's okay. Al Green sang it, and he did a
Would you
great
make it
job.
do wrong?
Would you make me do wrong? Is that what you said? Those are not the words. Would you make me do wrong?
I'm sorry. I had to get that one off.
Did you though?
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank y'all for chilling with us,
if you're
man.
listening to this in October of 2024 or October 2025 or whenever time you hear
January
this,
2027.
whenever time
It's gonna
you
be
hear
out there in the
this,
atmosphere.
we do hope that you enjoyed this episode, that you maybe gathered something and learned something from it. You know, it's just we hope that you find your life partner if you have not found that person. We really, really do. We want everybody to be in love like we are. we just think it's great. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to bid you adieu at this time. We're going to go to bed. It is now 2:06 in the AM.
And I gotta go to work tomorrow.
And the kids gotta go to school, so we gotta be up in a couple hours. But so glad to be here. So glad to be talking with you guys, talking with each other, getting some stuff out, and just kind of, you know, getting stuff out like this. So
Until then, see you guys next week.